Shines bright like the sun, brings light like the sun.
P is for power, the A for action, the NT because now is the time to get it done. See, the H is for heart and the E for effect. The all hold it down at the end for respect. Who am I, a panther? Who am I, a panther? What I got soul. What I got love. What I got pride. What I wanna be free. Raise your hands in the air if you feel like me. Who am I, a panther? Who am I, a panther? What I got soul. What I got love. What I got pride. What I wanna be free. Raise your hands in the air if you feel like me.
This song is dedicated to all those who live and die for the struggle. Panthers, children of the Panthers, and all those who strive for free minds, free souls, free bodies, and freedom, and love. Love. Love is the engine to the revolution.
In the end of the revolution.
The act is an act of love, and this is an act of love. All power to the people. I said the P is for power, the A for action, the NT because now is the time to get it done. See, the H is for heart and the E for effect. The all hold it down at the end for respect. Who am I, a panther? Who am I, a panther? What I got soul. What I got love. What I got pride. What I wanna be free. Raise your hands in the air if you feel like me. Who am I, a panther? Who am I, a panther? What I got soul. What I got love. What I got pride. What I wanna be free. Raise your hands in the air if you feel like me.
Can you see the pride of the panther
If you see it,
as she glows in splendor and grace, toppling obstacles placed
it looks,
in the way
it
of
looks
this race? Can you see the pride in the panther as she nurtures her young all alone? The seed must grow regardless of the fact that it's planted in stone. Can't you see the pride in the panthers as they unify as one? The flower blooms with brilliance and outshines the rays of the sun. Outshines like the sun, shines out like the sun, shines bright like the sun, brings light like the sun.
P is for power, the A for action, the NT because now is the time to get it done. See, the H is for heart and the E for effect. The all hold it down at the end for respect. Who am I, a panther? Who am I, a panther? What I got soul. What I got love. What I got pride. What I wanna be free. Raise your hands in the air if you feel like me. Who am I, a panther? Who am I, a panther? What I got soul. What I got love. What I got pride. What I wanna be free. Raise your hands in the air if you feel like me.
This song is dedicated to all those who live and die for the struggle. Panthers, children of the Panthers, and all those who strive for free minds, free souls, free bodies, and freedom, and love. Love. Love is the engine to the revolution.
we'll play it again.
Yeah.
Every revolutionary act is an act of love, and this is an act of love. All power to the people. I said the P is for power, the A for action, the NT because now is the time to get it done. See, the H is for heart and the E for effect. The all hold it down at the end for respect. Who am I, a panther? Who am I, a panther? What I got soul. What I got love. What I got pride. What I wanna be free. Raise your hands in the air if you feel like me. Who am I, a panther? Who am I, a panther? What I got soul. What I got love. What I got pride. What I wanna be free. Raise your hands in the air if you feel like me.
Can you see the pride of the panther as he glows in splendor and grace, toppling obstacles placed in the way of the progression of his race. Can you see the pride in the panther as she nurtures her young all alone? The seed must grow regardless of the fact that it's planted in the storm. Can't you see the pride in the panthers as they unify as one? The flower blooms with brilliance and outshines the rays of the sun. Outshines like the sun, shines out like the sun, shines bright like the sun, brings light like the sun.
P is for power, the A for action, the NT because now is the time to get it done. See, the H is for heart and the E for effect. The all hold it down at the end for respect. Who am I, a panther? Who am I, a panther? What I got soul. What I got love. What I got pride. What I wanna be free. Raise your hands in the air if you feel like me. Who am I, a panther? Who am I, a panther? What I got soul. What I got love. What I got pride. What I wanna be free. Raise your hands in the air if you feel like me.
This song is dedicated to all those who live and die for the struggle. Panthers, children of the Panthers, and all those who strive for free minds, free souls, free bodies, and freedom, and love. Love. Love is the engine to the revolution.
It said that every revolutionary act is an act of love, and this is an act of love. All power to the people. I said the P is for power, the A for action, the NT because now is the time to get it done. See, the H is for heart and the E for effect. The all hold it down at the end for respect. Who am I, a panther? Who am I, a panther? What I got soul. What I got love. What I got pride. What I wanna be free. Raise your hands in the air if you feel like me. Who am I, a panther? Who am I, a panther? What I got soul. What I got love. What I got pride. What I wanna be free. Raise your hands in the air if you feel like me.
Can you see the pride in the panther as he glows in splendor and grace, toppling obstacles placed in the way of the progression of his race? Can you see the pride in the panther as she nurtures her young all alone? The seed must grow regardless of the fact that it's planted in the storm. Can't you see the pride in the panthers as they unify as one? The flower blooms with brilliance and outshines the rays of the sun. Outshines like the sun, shines out like the sun, shines bright like the sun, brings light like the sun.
P is for power, the A for action, the NT because now is the time to get it done. See, the H is for heart and the E for effect. The all hold it down at the end for respect. Who am I, a panther? Who am I, a panther? What I got soul. What I got love. What I got pride. What I wanna be free. Raise your hands in the air if you feel like me. Who am I, a panther? Who am I, a panther? What I got soul. What I got love. What I got pride. What I wanna be free. Raise your hands in the air if you feel like me.
This song is dedicated to all those who live and die for the struggle. Panthers, children of the Panthers, and all those who strive for free minds, free souls, free bodies, and freedom, and love. Love. Love is the engine to the revolution.
It said that every revolutionary act is an act of love, and this is an act of love. All power to the people. I said the P is for power, the A for action, the NT because now is the time to get it done. See, the H is for heart and the E for effect. The all hold it down at the end for respect. Who am I, a panther? Who am I, a panther? What I got soul. What I got love. What I got pride. What I wanna be free. Reach your hands in the air if you feel like me. Who am I, a panther? Who am I, a panther? What I got soul. What I got love. What I got pride. What I wanna be free. Reach your hands in the air if you feel like me.
Can you see the pride of the panther as he glows in splendor and grace, toppling obstacles placed in the way of the progression of his race? Can you see the pride in the panther as she nurtures her young all alone? The seed must grow regardless of the fact that it's planted in stone. Can't you see the pride in the panthers as they unify as one? The flower blooms with brilliance and outshines the rays of the sun. Outshines like the sun, shines out like the sun, shines bright like the sun, brings light like the sun.
P is for power, the A for action, the NT because now is the time to get it done. See, the H is for heart and the E for effect. The all hold it down at the end for respect. Who am I, a panther? Who am I, a panther? What I got soul. What I got love. What I got pride. What I wanna be free. Reach your hands in the air if you feel like me. Who am I, a panther? Who am I, a panther? What I got soul. What I got love. What I got pride. What I wanna be free. Reach your hands in the air if you feel like me.
This song is dedicated to all those who live and die for the struggle. Panthers, children of the Panthers, and all those who strive for free minds, free souls, free bodies, and freedom, and love. Love. Love is the engine to the revolution.
It said that every revolutionary act is an act of love, and this is an act of love. All power to the people. I said the P is for power, the A for action, the NT because now is the time to get it done. See, the H is for heart and the E for effect. The all hold it down at the end for respect. Who am I, a panther? Who am I, a panther? What I got soul. What I got love. What I got pride. What I wanna be free. Reach your hands in the air if you feel like me. Who am I, a panther? Who am I, a panther? What I got soul. What I got love. What I got pride. What I wanna be free. Reach your hands in the air if you feel like me.
Can you see the pride of the panther as he glows in splendor and grace, toppling obstacles placed in the way of the progression of his race? Can you see the pride in the panther as she nurtures her young all alone? The seed must grow regardless of the fact that it's planted in stone. Can't you see the pride in the panthers as they unify as one? The flower blooms with brilliance and outshines the rays of the sun. Outshines like the sun, shines out like the sun, shines bright like the sun, brings light like the sun.
P is for power, the A for action, the NT because now is the time to get it done. See, the H is for heart and the E for effect. The all hold it down at the end for respect. Who am I, a panther? Who am I, a panther? What I got soul. What I got love. What I got pride. What I wanna be free. Reach your hands in the air if you feel like me. Who am I, a panther? Who am I, a panther? What I got soul. What I got love. What I got pride. What I wanna be free. Reach your hands in the air if you feel like me.
This song is dedicated to all those who live and die for the struggle. Panthers, children of the Panthers, and all those who strive for free minds, free souls, free bodies, and freedom, Love. Love. Love is the answer to the revolution.
That might send Mitty to Zing. You got Mitty number? Try to see if you can send it to Mitty or tell Poppy, text Poppy and tell him to send it. They're all power to the people. I live for the people, I die for the people. Welcome to the Hasan Shakur Political Education class. This is week 9. Each week, students will be assigned readings and videos to study, and will convene once a week to discuss the material, interpret and break down the core concept, questions and answers, and to prepare for next week's study materials. Remember that taking notes can be really beneficial, even audio ones. Don't be afraid to ask for help. We're all in this together. Each week, you are encouraged to bring the following: quotes from the material, questions you have, your interpretation of the material, core concept, revolutionary spirit. Comrades, our study this week will focus on Huey Newton discussing women and gay liberation, Fred Hampton on education, racism, capitalism, and revolution. We'll be discussing Bunchy Carter and briefly touching on another Panther documentary. Now, I'm gonna change up how this goes this week a little bit. We're gonna go straight to Huey P. Newton talking about discussing women and gay liberation, and then we're gonna watch the video of Bunchy Carter. And look, it's videos today. They're not long videos. The videos are pretty short. The longest one is the Bunchy Carter video, which is 12 minutes long. But you need to watch this. I wish people could do this on their own. You could go through this class and then you come here, we just have a discussion. But look, we're gonna have a good discussion today. I think everybody's gonna be interested in what we're talking about today. But we gotta go through this political education class. We gotta go through the class. You gotta get the food that you need so we can go into the discussion. I'm about to start it off right now. And I hope everybody good. It's Sunday. Don't worry, we're gonna get to talk. Everybody gonna chime in, tell me how you doing, how was your week, all of that. You ready? Let's go. And this was the video. Everybody was supposed to watch this video. See, last week, I told everybody to watch this video, and then when we get here today, we're gonna talk about the stuff that's in the video and how it pertains to today, our material conditions today. But I'm gonna play a brief, like the first 2 minutes of this video, so you can just get a glimpse of what you were supposed to watch before we got here.
In the late 60s, there are a few radical groups more controversial than the Black Panthers.
You Ronnie Baby.
The Black Panther Party was truly the first in-your-face movement in the history of this country.
Led by the dynamic personalities of Bobby Seale, Huey Newton, and Eldridge Cleaver, the Panthers boldly challenged white America to deliver justice and opportunity.
When the party says power to the people, we ain't diving a pound. We say power to the people.
Our slogan was about all power to all the people. That's what it was about.
Armed with guns, they advocate self-defense.
The police occupy our community as a foreign troop occupies territory.
And, if need be, the violent overthrow of the government.
You sort of had this idea it was this rogue group of out-of-control black people with guns shooting police.
We say, bring it on. If you want war, let there be war.
They are attacked by the FBI and police, turning city streets into battlegrounds.
Message received. To be a member of the Black Panther meant you were a target of the United States government.
It cost people their lives, you know.
But the Black Panthers never backed down.
It was heroes of the black community because they spoke up and said what they had to be said.
These are the counterculture icons who changed the world. In this hour, the Black Panthers, lords of the revolution.
I am a revolutionary. A revolutionary.
You were supposed to watch that before we even have our conversation today. Please, if you're not watching these videos before the class, please watch the video. Like, it'll make this go so much simpler. I really wish all this stuff that we usually got to talk about, like everybody really look at it and read it, and then we come here and we just talk. We just talk and discuss what we read, and we strategize on what to do after that. But I know everybody don't read, so we got to go through all of this. This is Huey P. Newton on gay and women's liberation. When you tell people that you're a Black Panther, when we talk about Pantherism, people often think about radicals, terrorism, like hating gay people, hating women, oppressing women. You know, the Panthers are everything opposite that. We are nothing like that. Pantherism has nothing to do with that. I'm going to show you the video. This is from 1960. Chairman Zulu, what year would this be? You there, Chairman?
1971.
1971. This video is from 1971. We're in 2023. And people still act like Panthers are not civilized, like we're this immature and this barbaric. But I'm about to play the video and you're going to hear from one of our founders' mouths. It's going to come right out of his mouth on how we feel about women and gay rights. It's not long. I think it's like 2-3 minutes long. But please pay attention and take notes because we're going to talk about this in the discussion.
There are a couple of other minority situations, or at least cleavages, on which I would like your comments. There are many groups of women today who are all categorized as women's liberation, and yet again, they represent a variety of groups, only some of whom are politically conscious, and there are other groups like the homosexual groups. I would like your thinking on their relationship to what you're talking about.
They definitely have a place in the revolutionary movement, the Women's Liberation Front, the Women's Liberation.
I know we have some guests in the audience, but this is Huey P. Newton. He's one of the founders of the Black Panther Party, and he's giving the line right now of what the Panthers think about women's rights and gay rights.
Liberation Front. Some of the groups are politically conscious. Those groups of women who are politically conscious, we would like to unite with them, and we would like to also have unity with the homosexual groups who are also politically conscious. We've had meetings with the homosexual representatives of the homosexual group and also the Women's Liberation Front. Now, the homosexual group have been oppressed so much and so badly until it was hard to convince them that the Black Panther Party is relating to them. But we see that homosexuals are human beings, and they're oppressed because of the bourgeois mentality and the bourgeois treachery that exists in this country. That tries to legislate sexual activity. Most of the laws are laws not to promote freedom, which is, I believe, that one of the most essential things that man universally strives after, whether it's internal freedom or external freedom. In other words, freedom from compulsions and obsessions. Man is not happy when he feels forced. These are the internal things when he's obsessed and feels compelled, whether it's through religious reasons or backwards values reasons, that even if he carries those values, that he's unhappy. And of course, that when we start legislating from the outside, there's force from the outside also, and this is on the laws, on the law book, saying that adult people can't have any kind of sexual relationship they want to. I don't think that the homosexuals should be harassed and badgered and brutalized because of their desire to have a sexual relationship that's not popular at this time. So we plan in the future to make sure that we're have solidarity with all oppressed people.
All power to the people. All power to the people.
All power to the people. All power to the people.
Hey, real talk, like you hear it here, like we're playing this video so you can hear from their own mouth what they believe, what our founders believe, and what we believe. Like, I could come in here and I could tell you what they said, or I could read a bunch of slides, but we're trying something different. We're gonna see if we can put this in video form so you can hear it directly from them. Yo, next I'm about to play a video of Bunchy Carter. Look, this video is 12 minutes long. I need you to pay attention of what they're talking about, because it's a lot of people out there that do work, real Panthers that do work in their communities all the time, but you'll never see it on MSNBC, you never see it on CNN. There are warriors out there that are fighting that you may never know about, but that doesn't mean they don't exist. Most of the time when we talk about Pantherism or people talk about Panthers, they talk about Bobby Seale and they talk about Huey P. Newton. That's basically most of the time, every time when anybody say Panther, that's what people run straight to. But it's hundreds, thousands of other soldiers out there, comrades that gave their life for the struggle. So we going through this quick, because look, after we go through the Bunchy Carter video, we're gonna go right into the Fred Hampton. We're gonna talk about racism, what racism is. We're gonna talk about the importance of political education. And then after that, we're gonna jump right into it. I saw Panther Queen pull up. I saw her pull up just now when she came, but she been on my Facebook going off on me about electoral politics. We're gonna dive right into that after we finish watching this videos and stuff. But look, right now we're going into Bunchy Carter.
There are a couple of other minority
Nah, it's coming on.
Everybody knows about the Black Panthers, and they know about Huey and Eldridge Cleaver and those guys in Oakland. The world needs to know about Bunchy Carter.
It's a whole nother conversation about who Bunchy was.
He proclaimed himself Bunchy Carter.
There's
no really books about him.
Real clear.
He was some so-called nigga out to Slauson.
You know, he's like the unsung true hero of Los Angeles, California, the whole community.
Bunchy went to Oakland and met up with Huey and Bobby and David Hilliard, and they met Bunchy. They said, oh man, we got to have an LA chapter.
Initially, when Bunchy started it, most of the people involved, a lot of the people involved were Slauson. Bunchy, he had personality, charisma.
And I'm glad I had the pleasure to meet the people who knew him. The man next to the man, you know what I mean?
Bunchy was, man.
They said, no question, he was the smartest one, the bravest one, the baddest one.
His mannerisms was street. But his mind had been developed. He became political. We called him the mayor of the ghetto. He had a natural ability. He was a natural leader. A lot of the members in the gangs, he was able to bring them in, re-educate them, redirect them. We would have dances every Friday night. We might fill a place up, maybe a couple of hundred people in there, partying, sweating, dancing. And right in the middle of it, we'd cut the music off. Bunchy jump up on a table, start talking for maybe 10 or 15 minutes. He'd run down some history, some facts, and, then, people be stunned. They'd be like, wow. And then hey, throw the music on and he'd get to doing the Philly dog and the party be back on. And, and then we'd come back that Monday, man, 10, 15 people lining up to join the Black Panther Party. That's the type of person.
All power to the people. All power to the people.
Simplified, the leadership that we all needed. He had laid it down, and that's what we've been trying to follow for the years to set an example so we wouldn't end up like the Bloods and Crips were. And it's not no gang or criminal mentality that we were trying to exemplify. This is not for you or your set, it was for your people.
It was a huge and big and rich time in history. We weren't, as the media and history would have us believe, a gang of hoodlums. I lived there. That was my life. I wasn't just some armed guerrilla intruded in on the community. That was my home.
I have some very sad news for all of you, and I think sad news for all of our fellow citizens. Martin Luther King was shot and was killed tonight in Memphis.
I don't really know who the leaders are. They're all dead. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X. It's like you can't be a leader for the Black community if you're alive. I mean, you probably wasn't doing your job. In '65, Most of your gangs segued into a political party. Like I mentioned, the Slaussons went into the Black Panther Party. But then the other gangs, they kind of identified more with a culture nationalist group called the US organization.
We have gotten our manhood back by the acts of violence. When the brother throws a brick or snipes from a building, that
These guys had, different philosophies. They didn't really, get along with each other's philosophy. They didn't believe in with each other's what they were doing. Panthers are more about confrontation, confronting the man. The US organization, from my understanding, was a little more abstract about, their rage.
Well, I'm a little more aggressive. I can fight a little better. I'm a little stronger, so I'll go with punching them. And the guys who couldn't fight so well, the guys who wanted to be more jazzy, they went with Karenga.
Kinds of things that Maulana Karenga was saying in that first speech I heard clicked with me in terms of black people seizing their own destiny and to express that through political power, to seize political power through organizing and a self-affirmation of who nations were recruiting, had been recruiting strongly from gang structures. You can see the beginnings of some confrontations.
Karenga and all those people, that US organization, they were armchair revolutionaries.
Armchair revolutionaries.
As far as, Bunchy and them were concerned.
Bunchy was a Slauson. And a lot of it, again, is being acted out, or was being acted out at that point through a politicized environment.
So they kind of antagonized each other a little bit. They both were trying to jockey in for position in Los Angeles at that vital time.
At what point did the US declare Panthers, or did they ever declare Panthers as like enemies?
I don't ever remember there being that kind of formal war council where that was actually declared. As things escalated and as the body count escalated, it was clear that there was a serious competition going on. As everybody now knows, that was exacerbated by the intervention of the state, i.e. COINTELPRO.
Vice President Agnew has called the Panthers a completely irresponsible, anarchistic group of criminals.
Whoever decided to, for some reason, the Panthers were the most dangerous organization in the United States, even more dangerous than the Communist Party or the Mafia. And so he ordered them essentially destroyed.
Directives issued by FBI headquarters called for, quote, imaginative and hard-hitting counterintelligence measures aimed at crippling the Black Panther Party.
The FBI set out to neutralize the Black Panther Party any way they could. They wanted to neutralize Bunchy Carter. He used the term neutralize, but nobody ever defined the term.
Neutralizing means a lot of things, including murdering. Neutralizing our entire movement.
As one communication went to Washington said, we bring these two groups together and let nature take its course.
It became clear that what they had to do was turn another organization against us, which was the Panthers.
COINTELPRO was doing its mischief and attempting to pit the two organizations against each other. It got to points where there was clearly almost a state of war that was existing between the two organizations.
We could all feel that there was something going on that was bigger than us.
The FBI had created this tension, but you had these two groups that, when they saw each other on the street, it was just a natural confrontation. They were making all kinds of suggestions and writing letters, and they had cartoons made up showing Ron Karenga with his feet up on a desk and things like that, and marking off Bunchy Carter and John Huggins and things to do today. These were cartoons that were created by FBI agents.
We didn't really know. Nobody believed that the FBI wanted to be bothered with some little Negroes in LA trying to organize themselves and so on and so forth. At the same time, they were sending the same stuff to them.
Correspondence propaganda between the two, between Bunchy and Karenga, telling one that the other one was doing something that wasn't appropriate.
Bunchy Carter and John Huggins were supposed to have been killed down in the Watts area working on some kind of a drug transaction. And, it would just looked like a drug deal, not a political assassination.
The day before that meeting, Bunchy and I went to the US headquarters and met with Ron Karenga and Jomo. Jomo was in charge of their military. We had an agreement that however the students voted,
Bunchy on the left, John on the right.
if they voted for cultural nationalism, the Panthers would support that. If they voted for revolutionary nationalism, us would support that.
Bunchy realized what was going down. He jumped over row of chairs. He got shot through the chair. Damn. So the bullet expanded and hit his chest, expanded, and he died instantly.
January 17, 1969, Bunchy Carter was killed on the campus of UCLA. You know what I mean? And for some reason, the US organization kind of got the blame for it. Somebody from the US would have served as the killer for that.
Right. As an instigator, or what we would call, agent provocateur.
How did that all come about? Did they say, today we're killing Bunchy at UCLA? You know, was it like, today is the day we're going to kill Bunchy, but it's going to be at UCLA? We didn't get him on that drug thing. Was it planned out, that structure, or?
Well, as I understand it from the agent who was telling me about it, the operation at UCLA was all screwed up.
Incident at UCLA was manifested how, did you think? By the FBI, but at the time, we were naive and we thought that it was just another move by the US organization.
There's a lot of what I call ghetto folk tales, you know what I mean? Some of it's true, some of it's not. Sometimes our own personal perspective kind of overshadows what really went on. I wanted to clear up what was really going on, before my time, I don't believe that Karenga was working for the FBI. He might have been manipulated by the FBI. I was comfortable in making Karenga the villain. And then I had to talk to Geronimo. He was like, nah.
For all of these years, the US organization has been getting a bum rap behind that killing. I'm sure Bunchy, above all, would be turning over in his grave if we were not to straighten this out.
Some kind of memorandum was uncovered from the FBI, which declared, though we did not pull the trigger on that day, January 1969, we did cause the unrest that preceded it.
When they killed Bunchy and John, the word came down that it was to be no retaliation, that we were not going to engage in that because that would defeat the very principles that we had started on, and that, we were not going to get involved in blacks killing blacks.
And it was hard not to break his rules, because they took something away, man. They just snatched apart our heart. And not to, not to hit something back, not to attack back or move the deal, resolve that. It is still hard today, to talk about it.
All power to the people.
All power, all power, all power. But like I said already, it's people, I don't know them. It's a lot of people doing work that I don't know myself. But people all around the world are doing great work, are doing good work. Just because you don't know them, that don't mean they don't exist. You got to find a way to get in touch with these people. We got to find a line to build connections with all these people. I'm about to play, we get into the juicy part. This is moving quick. I'm about to play a couple of videos from Fred Hampton. Once again, hearing it from their mouth. We're hearing it from Fred Hampton's mouth on what he believed, what the Panthers believe about concerning racism and capitalism. And then after this, I don't know, I forgot what's after this, but one more video of him, then we're gonna go to the political, the need for political education. Why political education is so important in anything that we are doing.
What makes them mad about it is that they had black people and white poor people and red poor people and Puerto Rican poor people and Latin American Puerto Rican people of poor people of all descents. They had them caught up in movements based on racism when the Black Panther Party stood up and said that we don't care what anybody says. We don't think you fight fire with fire fists, we think you fight fire with water fists. We're going to fight racism, not with racism, but we're going to fight with solidarity. We said we're not going to fight capitalism with black capitalism, but we're going to fight it with socialism. We stood up and said we're not going to fight reactionary pigs and reactionary state attorneys like this and reactionary state attorneys like Hanrahan with any other reactions on our part. We're going to fight their reactions where all of us people are getting together and have an international proletarian revolution. Right on. And that's saying all power to the people. Right on. That's saying that no matter what color you are, there's only two classes. And that's saying there's a class over here and there's a class over there. And the reason that this class over here has never did anything to get this class off its back, because this is lower, this is upper, this is the oppressed, this is the oppressor, this is the exploited, this is the exploiter. And these people in this class have divided themselves. They say, I'm black and I hate white people. I'm white and I...
Yo, I need you to pay attention to this. Like, whoever's listening, come on, like, I really need you to pay attention. It's often made out that Panthers are racist. We don't like white people. We don't like this people. We don't like that people. But you're listening to Fred Hampton. He's telling you who we are. And he's telling you who our enemy is. On one side is the imperialists, and on the other side is all of us. And the way they maintain power is by keeping us fighting amongst each other, fighting about petty things while they collect all the means of production, while they own all the companies, while they carry on with their monopolies. We sit here fighting about things that don't amount. You say what?
Whose oppression is worse?
Yeah, whose oppression is worse? Who is getting it the worst from the man? Instead of understanding the only way we can defeat them is by coming together to defeat them. I'm gonna put the video on.
I hate black people. I'm Latin American and I hate hillbillies. I'm hillbilly, I hate Indians. So we fighting amongst each other. And you've heard the testimony of pigs here. You got pigs of all colors, you know that. You got pigs that are white, you got pigs that are black, you even got pigs that are black and white. Propagating the same type of madness that this buffoon Hanrahan would be propagating if he were here himself. And why? Because they want to keep you to believing that I'm your enemy, and that everybody else that's black and that wears a lot of hair on his head and hair on his face, they want to keep you thinking that he's your enemy. Why? Because if ever you would disregard him and overlook him just for a minute and throw away that question of racism and started to dealing with a little logic, then there would be no one else you could attack other than Hanrahan, other than Davy, and other than Tricky Dicky Nixon. If you make the right decision, then the oppressed people of the world can get complete satisfaction. I know you return a verdict of not guilty. Thank you.
Like you heard him yourself, man. The quicker we understand that we are not our own enemies, the quicker we can do something about it. Your race, your gender, your sex, that's not on, I don't care. That doesn't concern me. Us coming together to pull our resources to fight back against those who are really oppressing us, that's what I'm concerned about.
What makes them mad about it? I'm the deputy chairman of the state of Illinois Black Panther Party, Fred Hampton. And a lot of people don't understand the Black Panther Party's relationship with white mother country radicals. A lot of people don't even understand that word that Elvis uses a lot. But what we're saying is that there are white people in the mother country that are for the same types of things that we are for stimulating revolution in the mother country. And we've said that we'll work with anybody and form coalition with anybody that has revolution on their mind. We're not a racist organization because we understand that racism is an excuse used for capitalism. And we know that racism is it's a byproduct of capitalism. Everything would be all right if everything was put back in the hands of the people. And we're going to have to put it back in the hands of the people. Everybody in the...
Yo, look. Yeah. Yo, look. Like I keep saying, I've said this already, I'm going to say it again. Yo, revolution don't mean you get up and you go pick up a gun and you go outside and start acting like a reactionary, just fighting anybody, doing silly stuff. Like, that is not a revolution. Like, he's telling you what a revolution is. A revolution is all of us that are being oppressed, fighting for housing, not making enough money to pay our rent, to sustain ourselves. All of us coming together to find ways to sustain ourselves. You see, that changes how we are being governed right now, how we are living, and change the material condition on who has power over us. When we decide, us, the people, decide to come to organize with each other to find ways to survive, that's revolution. Not going to go pick up a gun to go do anything. Once we form that collective, once we organize and we start fighting together, they're going to come to try to destroy what we have because they understand without the people, they have nothing. That's when you may need to go get a gun. Well, that's when you're gonna need to go get a gun to protect what we have. But right now, I'm not going to City Hall to go do nothing. I'm not going none of these places to go do that, to go fight back. Like, the power is not there. The power is with the people. I'm with the people. That's where the power is. And that's what Fred is telling you.
The state of Illinois is going to have to be involved or even around the revolution because we're going to have one. We're going to have to do more than talk. We're going to have to do more than listen. We're going to even have to do more than learn. We're going to have to start practicing, and that's very hard. We got to start learning, and you learn through practice. We got to start making mistakes, and you learn through making mistakes. We got to start getting out there with the people. And a lot of times we think we're better than the people, but that's an insult, and that's criminal. Think you're better than the people. But we got to get together and learn where it's at. It's going to take a lot of hard work. Education for children is something else. You ought to dig on it. Every sister in this audience. Every sister in this audience ought to get themselves together and come on down and help us with education for children.
Hear what Fred said? He didn't say nothing about no gun. He said those breakfasts for children is something else. He ain't say nothing about no voting. He ain't say nothing about that. That breakfast for children, survival programs. Yo, the children in the community hungry. Yo, we come together in the community and we set up a place where every morning, every single child can walk in there and get breakfast before they go to school. That's a revolution. That's how you're changing material conditions. The children are not hungry. We can all do that in all the communities that we live in. Wherever you live at, wherever you're at, you can come together with people in that community to put places in there where we fund it. Yeah, you put up a couple of dollars out your pocket every month, whatever, to buy the eggs. You tell the stores around there to produce, to give you the eggs. If they don't want to give to the community, yo, you don't patronize them. You see, but all of that stuff is organized. You're listening to Fred. Fred said nothing about going to war. The first thing that came out of his mouth was feeding people. That's what Pantherism is. Pantherism is working with the people, being with the people, and taking care of the people's needs. That's what Pantherism is. All power. That's the people we're looking for. We're not looking for somebody that's going to tell us to go vote for this person or go post this sign on social media or go do this. No, that's not what I signed up to be a Panther for. That's not the Panther philosophy that I follow. I follow people are starving outside. You create places where for them to eat or sleep.
Program. Y'all here come down and help feed them children in the morning. We have breakfast for children because we teach the people through practice, through observation and participation, that people can be fed free. That's the people thing. Socialism is the people. You're afraid of yourself. If you're afraid of socialism, you're afraid of yourself. We know they have our pictures, we know they're looking for us, we know they want us, but we're still saying that even though we could be, in a sense, as far as this system goes, on the mountaintop, we in the Black Panther Party, because of our dedication and understanding what's in the valley, knowing that the people in the valley, knowing that we originally came from the valley, knowing that our flag is the same flag as the people in the valley, knowing that our enemy is on the mountaintop, our friends are in the valley, we say even though it's nice to be on the mountaintop, we're going back to the valley.
All power to the people.
I be in the office every day. I be in the streets propagandizing every day. I be working with everybody every day. I be teaching that solidarity is the thing. The end of a complete wipeout of imperialism is the thing. So if you're going to be thinking about me, that's what Bobby would be teaching. If you're going to be thinking about us, all we say is ain't no thing about going nowhere, getting killed. All we want to know is that you're doing what we'd be doing if we were here.
Ain't nothing about going.
But you got to do something. You can't do it unless you believe that you can do it. In the spirit of liberation, we understand that they want everybody in the party in jail. And we know that if we try to figure out and separate and divide who should go and who shouldn't go, we spend more time doing that than working for the people. So the quick solution, the speedy one, nobody goes. Nobody goes. We all stay right here. With the people. Because we love the people. Okay, you put your hands down now. We say all power to all people. We say white power to white people. Brown power to brown people. Yellow power to yellow people. Black power to black people. X power to those that we left out. We say Panther power to the Vanguard Party. When you leave here saying the last word, before you go to bed tonight, say I am a revolutionary. Make that the last word. In case you don't wake up, then somebody might believe it and you might, end up in what they call a revolutionary happy hunting grounds. Say that. I am a revolutionary. Say it when you're going out. Everybody has to leave. Okay, we're going to say it while we're going out. Hey, we're going to start a thing called Free Fred. Don't that sound nice? Hey, let's do that. Free Fred. Free Fred. Free Fred. Free Fred. Hey, I ain't even in jail yet.
Nah, you heard him. He even said it. He said, I'm not telling nobody to go nowhere and do no fight or whatever he said. But he said, like, yo, the breakfast program, man, like that's what people need. People are starving, people are hungry, people need a place to stay. Those are the survival program. That's the revolution. When we can sustain our own people, that's the revolution. The revolution is not all these phony ideas that the state put into your mind, that the FBI, the media, these presidents, these governors, these politicians try to put in your mind about what the Panthers are. The Panthers are about the people sustaining themselves. Yo, the most important part out of all of this is the education piece. It's knowing what our philosophy is, what we about, what we believe in, and what we're struggling for. And I'm about to play the video right now. After this video, we are going to see how we can use what they're saying, and we can apply that to conditions that's going on right now in the country, this week, last month, the stuff we're going through right now. How can we apply what he's saying, what they're saying, what Panthers were saying in the 70s to now? So we're gonna start with that right after I play this this last video. It's like 2 minutes long. It's talking about the necessity for political education. You played it, Bishop?
First play.
I think it's played already.
You basically knowing my ideology, basically you knowing me knowing yours, you can support some of our programs. Is that what you're saying?
Why not?
And you believe in programs like the Breakfast for Children program and free health clinics? Right on, brothers?
We believe they're good things.
Uh-huh.
As a focal point to organize their mothers and fathers.
Uh-huh.
Peace.
Mm-hmm. There's no educational program here?
That's come out of socialization thing.
That's Fred Hampton.
I mean, we can't put everything on one piece of paper.
What about this bank?
Credit union?
Mm-hmm.
Credit union. Credit union, my brother.
Is a bank.
Are you hip to credit unions? It is a bank.
Yeah, you go and borrow money?
Yeah, it's a bank. It's a bank. Owned by the people, run for the people, and by the people.
What will money be given out to people for?
Well, the people would decide that. You want to buy, whatever, the people in the community decide. You need some living room furniture, maybe? You need a car, maybe?
See, the thing is, with me, you dig, I need to know some more about it. I wish you had some more literature about the educational thing here. Because, you dig, as far as we're concerned in the struggle, the way we look at struggle,
Hey, Chairman.
All power to the people.
All power, Chairman. Hey, look, you understand what they talk, what he's talking about, right?
Yeah.
Every time I watch this, I think about all the people that come into our association and they say they want to join us and they have all these ideas to help the people out. But they always forget about the political education part. You heard me?
All power to the revolution.
Yo, all power, yo. Yo, like, because this is what he's dealing with. They're talking about forming a bank for the people get to do this, the people get to do that. And I mean, they're saying that they're doing this for the people. And watch the question that Fred asked them.
Is that this depends on the educational thing, you did. Because
this depends on the education. Well, the whole thing.
No, but in the end, this does. You can form this with no education. You can form this.
No, not the way we're talking about forming it. You know, right. We're talking about forming it right. You know, it's not on the paper. We didn't write it on the paper.
Form it right with no education. No. Let me give you an example.
Comrades, can you turn that volume up, please? Because we can't really hear it.
You can't hear it?
Not as clear. Can you turn it up some?
You know, you can educate, hate the enemy, but I'm your brother. I help you lead the revolution. Now I'm gonna press you. Another example, Papa Doc in Haiti. Papa Doc in Haiti hated everything white. Man, you couldn't put this white paper in front of Papa.
There you go. All power.
Oh, you heard it?
Yeah, the volume went up some.
No, hold on, let me see.
Doc's face, but he moved all the white people out and he took over and be a president. He did, causing no
education.
And the people that been educated,
all power.
That we don't hate the motherfucking white people, we hate the oppressor, whether he be white, black, brown, or yellow. So we got to know the educational program to find out what is going to be in the finale. A lot of people, Yomo Kenyatta is called never a revolutionary, but an ex-revolutionary. So is Papa Doc. They brought on a successful revolution. That thing in the Mao's was a bitch. Bantu freedom fighters, all that kind of action. What we saying is the end. But you don't judge Castro now. You can't do it. Nobody in this room could judge whether Castro's going to be a revolutionary or not. You know what I mean? We're talking about things, you know what I mean, with China, the People's Republic, and even at the stage they're in now, talking about even going on further into a communistic state. That's what we're talking about. Those are revolutionary. So we got to understand here the educational program that you have to be able to figure out whether it will go on the right lines where the people will end up in a situation where they can be able to really control themselves. You understand what I'm saying? With no education, the people take this local foundation and start stealing money because they won't be really educated to why it's the people's thing anyway. You understand what I'm saying? With no education, you have neo-colonialism instead of colonialism, like you got in Africa 9, like you got in Haiti. So what we're talking about is there has to be an educational program. That's very important. As a matter of fact, it's so important for us that a person has to go through 6 weeks of our political education before he can consider himself a member of the party, able to even run down ideology for the party. Why? Because if they don't have an education, then they're nowhere. You dig what I'm saying? They're nowhere because they don't even know why they're doing what they're doing. You might get people caught up in the emotionalist movement. You understand me? You might get them caught up in because they're poor and they want something. And then if they're not educated, they want more. And before you know it, they'll be capitalists. And before you know it, we have Negro imperialists.
Like, yo, bro, like, hey, yo, like you really dropped it like so simple. Like what he said, if they have no knowledge, like they don't know what they're fighting for. You have no political education and nothing. Like, what are you fighting for? Hey, look, this week, it was all over the media yesterday. That's all that we're talking about. The 2 politicians expelled from Congress in Tennessee, from the Senate or whatever they were expelled from. The electoral politics hustle scam that they got going on everywhere, every city, every state. They got all these people stunting people, scamming people. And they got expelled. So it's all over the media, CNN, MSNBC, everywhere. And they're telling us these people are the new heroes, our heroes that we're supposed to be defending, fighting for, standing up, aligning ourselves with. I'm going to play, if you don't know what I'm talking about, if you didn't see this, yo, I'm going to play a couple of videos for you to get abreast, up to date on what's going on. And then when I cut the video off, hey, yo, stop putting your hands up. Patients, take down whatever, go by, we'll put it up first. And I need you, yo, you have a minute and a half to tell me what your analysis is, what you think about this people and what their struggle is. And is their struggle for the people? Because we just listen to Fred, we just listen to QEP, what we believe in, all the stuff we believed in, and this is week 9. We are at week 9, and we got the prior weeks. I want you to listen to these people, listen to what the media is telling you, what other politicians are telling you about them, and listen to their own words. And then I want you to tell me what you think and how that applies to what Fred Hampton said about the people being educated.
We're voting on House Resolution 63. All those in favor, vote aye when the bell rings. Those opposed, vote no. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote?
Now, on whether or not to expel Justin Pearson
Mr.
will
Clerk,
be announced.
Take the vote.
Aye, 69, 26 nays.
Having received the concurrence of 2/3 of the members to which the House is entitled in the Constitution of the State of Tennessee, House Resolution 63 is hereby adopted. Without objection, the motion reconsider is tabled. Pursuant to Article 2, Section 12 of the Constitution of the State of Tennessee, I hereby declare Representative Justin J. Pearson of the 86th
Here's Justin Pearson, as you're just seeing right there, has been expelled with 69 votes in favor to expel him. We needed 66 votes to announce a formal expulsion. He has now been expelled, joining Justin Jones, who had also been expelled. Gloria Johnson survived her seat with 65 votes, just one vote saving her seat. Folks, I have to tell you the optics there, as Gloria Johnson referenced herself, perhaps the only white out of the 3 Congress members there and representatives that had been saved her seat. So there you see it. The Tennessee House voting to expel 2 of the 3 Democratic lawmakers for their objection to gun legislation 2 weeks ago. This is the culmination of that. This is a historic moment right now, as you're seeing playing out. State legislature there in Tennessee.
What happened today, the expulsion of 2 representatives in the Tennessee State House, has only happened twice since the 1860s. The last expulsion in 2016 was for a lawmaker accused of sexual misconduct. This time it was for a violation of the rules of decorum. Gary Tuchman is inside the state capitol, just outside the House chamber, joins us now. So, Gary, talk about what's just happened.
Anderson, as we speak, behind me, there are about 150 very angry people, angry that 2 legislators have been expelled from the House of Representatives. Right here, I'm standing in between Tennessee state troopers right here, the people back here. And the reason they are standing here is because the legislators are coming out of the door now of the legislative chamber, and they're trying to forestall any possibility of violence. But so far, everything's been peaceful. I don't know if you can see there are people playing dead, lying down right here with signs like the people are watching you, and fighting fascism is a moral obligation. But these people are very angry. All day long, there have been hundreds of people outside and inside the legislature building, the Capitol, and there have been about 250 people inside who are now leaving and coming out here. But basically, in a nutshell, and that right there is one of the legislators who's coming out right now. But that in a nutshell, this is a political story. And here's the man who was just expelled. This is Justin Pearson. I don't know if you can see him, but Justin Pearson is now walking out to talk to the people here. Let me see if I can get a word from him. Representative Pearson. Representative Pearson, how do you feel, sir? How do you feel right now, sir? Right, he's not talking right now. Let's hear if we can get a word. Mr. Representative, how do you feel right now? How do you feel right now, sir? All right, it's pretty chaotic, as you can see. I'm going to get back towards our camera. It's a chaotic scene, but to put this in a non-political nutshell, these people have been expelled from the House of Representatives because they talked out of turn last week, 7 days ago. They walked out of turn. They're not allowed to walk into the well of the House of Representatives without permission from the Speaker of the House. They did that to protest this, and they also talked out of turn, and 1 week later they're expelled. Listen to what people are saying. No justice, no peace. Take a look. So 2 representatives expelled. The other one, Gloria Johnson, survived by 1 vote. Gloria Johnson, who is white, and Justin Jones, who is black, both have said on the record they believe it has something to do with skin color. We don't know the answer to that, but 2 of the 3 legislators expelled are no longer representatives. They were elected by tens of thousands of people in their districts, but they've now been expelled from the House of Representatives by Tennessee state legislators. Anderson, back to you.
And Gary, what are their options now? The two legislators who've been expelled, will they run again?
So here's something very interesting, Anderson. You're going to talk to Justin Jones shortly. He'll tell you if he's going to run again. But what's really interesting about Tennessee law, if he decides to run again and he wins again, he can't be charged on these same counts again. That's what's interesting. It's double jeopardy. If your constituents decide to elect you again, you can't be expelled again on this charge. However, they could find other charges to expel him. So it doesn't mean...
All right. That's one video. This is another video. Look, I want you to get all the different angles, like to see all the different people that's talking about it before we get into it. I've seen this video like 20 times already. I'm nauseated by watching them anyway, but I need you to watch it. I need all of us to watch it before we can all comment on it.
Trio, now known as the Tennessee Three, were fighting for their jobs. Not by addressing the voters who elected them, though, but a Republican supermajority vowing to punish them. Republican House Speaker Cameron Sexton even linked their peaceful protest to insurrection. With no investigation, no consideration of a censure or some other legislative penalty, Tennessee Republicans wielded their power to call for the expulsion of the duly elected Tennessee Three. While Johnson narrowly survived the expulsion vote, Representatives Justin Jones and Justin Pearson, the two youngest black male legislators in the body, did not. Moments later, on the Capitol steps, their resolve was stronger than ever.
They thought they won today, but they don't realize. They don't realize where they started. They started a movement they can't stop. They thought that we were creating good trouble there, but we're on the outside now.
Sometimes to get from the periphery in the back of the house, you got to go to the well of democracy and demand that democracy be true for everybody, not just the rich white men in suits.
If the Republicans' goal was to silence these good troublemakers, it was far from a success. The Tennessee Three's expulsion sparked even greater protests and skyrocketed the Tennessee legislature to the top of the national news cycle. The trio had a virtual discussion with President Biden, where he thanked them for their example, and Vice President Kamala Harris made a sudden trip to enlist even more Tennesseans in the fight for democracy.
A democracy says you don't silence the people. You do not stifle the people. You don't turn off their microphones when they are speaking about the importance of life and liberty.
Well, well, well. Let's remember how we got here, folks. After yet another school shooting that killed 3 children and 3 adults, Republican lawmakers continued their bulwark against common sense reform, banning their colleagues from the People's House, but refusing to ban weapons of war in the streets. I traveled to Nashville yesterday to sit down with the Tennessee Three. It was their first joint interview since those unprecedented expulsions, and I began by asking now former Representative Justin Pearson about the devastating real-life impact of unfettered access to firearms. Here's our conversation.
Yeah, the proliferation of guns in our communities has real ramifications. Legislation being passed at the Tennessee State House that makes it easier to access a gun has real ramifications. And so I say the names of Larry Thorne and Dr. Yvonne Nelson, who were murdered due to gun violence. And it's really important that we understand this moment as a catalyst about what happened in Covenant. But there being laws that have led to this happening. And there's also been inaction.
So let's talk about the expulsion. Representative Johnson, by 1 vote, you are still a sitting member of the Tennessee State Legislature. Why do you believe you are not expelled on Thursday?
Because of the color of my skin.
So then would you say that the Republican members of the Tennessee State Legislature are racist?
Well, I would say that I was sitting in Criminal Justice Committee discussing a bill where we were, they would like to add the firing squad and the electric chair to the methods for capital punishment. And one of the members said, I think we need to add hanging by a tree. So he called for a hate crime. This was just a few weeks ago. And we hear comments like that. For the time I've been up there, I have heard comments like that on multiple occasions. And we got a meh kind of apology, really. But, I mean, He sat in a committee and called for a hate crime. He's still in that committee. We were stripped of our committees.
I will say, as I was preparing to come down to Nashville today, I got messages from folks that said, well, I hope that Representative Jones and Representative Pearson continue to keep their cool, continue to stay calm. And I don't know about you, but I felt unsettled by that.
Yeah.
Why did it unsettle you?
Because what happened on yesterday was an act of violence. It was a public lynching. It was an attempt to humiliate, an attempt to beat down and to really make an example out of us. What was outrageous was the things we heard during that fake trial, in which essentially they were saying to Representative Pearson and I that we are uppity Negroes. They might as well have called us boy. They did not treat us like colleagues. They did not treat us like equals, and they never have.
Why do you think it was this particular moment that moved this body to take these such extreme measures? Why was this moment different?
An institution is very difficult to change. And even in a moment of persecution, it will do what it is intended to do. And an institution that has its pillars built by white supremacy and by patriarchy will still produce a similar result, even in the persecution of the minority. The two youngest black lawmakers, the one of only 2 Democratic women in the State House. And so in this moment in time when we were all up for expulsion, race, which we're told not to talk about.
Race, we were told race doesn't matter.
Race doesn't matter if you just treat, if you just.
Yeah, like the only thing I agree with the institution part. The institutions will do what they're erected to do. No matter what you do, the institutions will do exactly what they are erected to do. You play another video, like we gonna get all of it. Ain't nobody gonna say, because somebody they be accusing me like you don't do your homework, whatever. Man, I watched everything on these people. I read up on their history, on who they are, where they came from before they started getting into politics. I did all of that. But I'm giving it to you. Like I need you to see it too before we talk about it. So you could be well versed. Why is this place? Can you play it, Patience?
No.
Oh, you're not connected?
I'm not, yeah.
I need my boy Rob. Where's my boy Rob at? 1 second, y'all. I'm getting to it. Moment is there.
First, we bring you some of the historic scenes that unfolded as Justin Jones and his colleagues defended themselves.
Notice how Democracy Now! Is parodying the same thing as the big media stations, as MSNBC, CNN, all these people. They're all saying the same thing. No matter where you go. That's one of the reasons why I'm showing it to you. After this video, it's a few, like 2 minutes short. I'm gonna go to another video. They are all strategically saying the same thing.
And supporters looked on from a packed gallery but stayed quiet so they could witness the proceedings. This is Representative Jones facing questioning from his Republican colleague and laying out his defense.
I was shocked to have the Speaker of the House condemn mothers and children and grandmothers and parents and concerned citizens, clergy, lie on them and say that they were violent insurrectionists. And I think that he owes the people of Tennessee an apology. Because at no point was there violence. At no point did we encourage violence. In fact, what we were doing was calling for the end of gun violence that is terrorizing our children day after day after day, and all we offer are moments of silence. It is in that spirit of speaking for my constituents, of being a representative of the people, that I approached this well on last Thursday. Breaking a House rule, but exercising moral obedience to my constitutional responsibility to be a voice for my people, to be a voice for the Tennesseans who you choose not to listen to because of those NRA checks that are so hefty in your campaign funds. There comes a time where people get sick and tired of being sick and tired.
One of the questions that keeps coming back to my mind that I hope maybe you can answer is when
I don't care about your question, my boy. Keep your question. This is the last video right here.
On April 17th, a group of clergy from different denominations, they have invited Reverend Dr. William J. Barber and Repairs of the Breach to come and have a Moral Monday there in Tennessee. Reverend Barber joins us right now. Reverend Barber, this is Good Friday. We just, of course, commemorated the assassination of Dr. King 3 days ago there in Memphis. What you see unfolding here is a continuation of the battle where you had Dr. King going after Mayor Loeb there in Memphis with the sanitation workers 55 years ago. And now you still have folks fighting these, what used to be Southern Democrats who are now Republicans, with frankly, what is the rise of Confederacy again.
You do, Roland. And one of the things that I think that we also have to think about in this moment, and I want to say this very clearly, you know, Dr. King, when those 4 girls were killed in the Birmingham church, and when Jimmy Lee Jackson was killed, James, he said who killed them, and then he gave a list. Now that list that Dr. King did, Roland, you and I have talked about it, it was quite harsh. He said every Negro that is sat on the sideline. He said every white politician that is engaged in these policies, every sheriff. He said every preacher that has not moved. And so here we are in a situation where we've got this thing around the guns and these 3 legislators. And by the way, one of the things we should list is they were not out of order. They were trying to be in order. They were trying to do regular debate. And what happened was the speaker began to cut off the mics and stop debate. Narrative shifts. The South is not really red. It's unorganized and unmobilized. And so here is a powerful opportunity. They try to take out these 3 legislators. Watch what Justin Pearson and Justin Jones have done, though, and the white lady that's there. Number one, she wouldn't allow them to split them from her, even though they didn't expel her. Notice how every time Justin goes to the mic, he's saying, look, this is not just about me being a legislator. This is about them trying to shut down the voices of my 70,000 constituents. This is a moral issue. This is about them trying to block public policy. This is about democracy. They are skillful. I've known both of them for a while, especially Justin Jones. They are being very skillful, and they're leading us. They're not allowing it to be about a personality cult. They're forcing this to be about a movement, about principle, and about shifting public policy. We stay here. Yes, this is a movement, can build across this nation. That's why we were invited to go there on April 17th. We've got Muslims and Christians and Jews and people of faith, pastors, clergy, people who may not be people of faith, but who believe in the deep moral values of our Constitution. On the 17th of April at 11 o'clock, we're going to be marching. And guess what, Roland? We're taking caskets. We're going to be in full vestment. We're not going to let them change the subject away from this death-dealing public policy that will kill babies and block health care and block living wage. No, we're not doing that. And we're not stopping in Nashville. We're coming there. And when we go to Nashville, Roller, I'm not going there to speak and lift up me. It's to lift up the prophets that are already there, the people that are there. Mm-hmm. And then we're running now toward Washington, D.C. and the Congress in Washington, D.C. So, yes, this is a moment that is a movement, and I'm so thankful that the 2 young men that are at the center of this understand movement building, understand how to keep an issue focused. And I'm also glad that when they chose not to expel the white lady, she didn't take the bait. She didn't take the bait, right? She said, oh, no. You may not have expelled me, and she said, but I know exactly why you didn't do it, because I'm a white woman and you're trying to separate me, and that's not going to happen.
Last question for you. We talk about, you said, again, people are not mobilized. They're not organized. Look, you know, we have been making calls to the Tennessee chapter of the NAACP to find out what they're doing. Earlier today, the Nashville branch of the NAACP, they actually held a news conference there. I mean, this is one of those moments, frankly, where NAACP, Urban League, National Action Network, Rainbow Push Coalition, Black Voters Matter, Until Freedom, Alphas, AKAs, Deltas, the Divine Nine, Prince Hall Mason, Eastern Star, the Links. All of these black groups must be utilizing their power and their membership and putting them into action.
Exactly. Now, let's be honest.
Yeah, that's it right there. Hey, anybody got their hands up here?
Yeah, before you call anybody, can I just set the background to this? About a minute, 60 seconds.
All power to the people. Go ahead,
All
Chair.
power to the people. This Chairman Shakur Zulu. I think what is important here is the long historical record of the enemy using their own institutions to whip oppressed people into submission. If you look at the first Reconstruction, right after the South, the Confederates were defeated, blacks en masse voted or were elected into positions. Almost 2,000 blacks were elected into positions in the South. I think 17 or 18 blacks were in Congress. And when the bourgeoisie,
Chairman.
Yes.
That was at the Black Reconstruction, right?
Black Reconstruction, exactly. So when the bourgeoisie decided on who was going to be the next president in 1867, they decided that they were going to withdraw the troops from the South. They were going to restore the former slave masters in their positions of property. And so they stripped all the blacks that were in the institutions of the enemy from their positions and relegated them back to farmers and peons, et cetera, et cetera. Now, in 1966, you had a young cat from the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee. And I've jumped that. I could go other instances, but I just jumped it for purposes of being succinct. In 1966, you had a cat named Julia Bond that came out of SNCC, and he was on the right side of SNCC. He was not Stokely Carmichael or H. Rap Brown, but they were in the same organization. They had different ideas. In any event, he ran for office and he won the state seat in Georgia. And, you know, he was excited. He gave a nice big speech. The Vietnam War is illegal. He condemned it. He condemned the United States. And Georgia stripped him of his seat and said that he's not, he doesn't have the good qualities to be a lawmaker in Georgia. Eventually, he was restored. My point here, comrades, brothers and sisters, is that no matter how much we think integrating into this burning system will leverage political power for us, we have a plethora of examples to show that it doesn't work. And I gave these examples because this thing that transpired with the Tennessee 3, now that they're known as, only reflects a class stand of the bourgeoisie, the left side of the bourgeoisie, which is represented by the Democratic Party. They want to put guns back into factory boxes. They don't believe they should be circulated in the streets. So that's their position, whereas the Republicans take an opposite position. Our position within the Black Panther Party is that, and Huey P. Newton laid it out pretty clear, an unarmed people who have been the victims of oppression is easily subjected to being oppressed again if they don't learn to use weapons to defend their dignity. And finally, brothers and sisters, this thing in Tennessee represents a lack of political power, a lack of economic power, a lack of military power. Because I could tell you, if we had any of those things organized in a structural way, they will not remove anyone from the seat of power who had the power to leverage a political consequence. We don't have that. We don't have no political power in the community. We don't have no economic power because it's scattered all over in every place. We don't have no kind of real leadership in the halls of the enemy power, because once you get there, it has a way of soothing your militancy. All power to the people.
All power to the people. Hey, I see you, Rob. I saw you put your hand up. Is Comrade with Panther Queen in here? She's still in here?
Yeah, she in here.
Yo,
let's go to Rob.
Yep, I'm right here.
all power. So go ahead, tell from what Fred Hampton said about political education, about the people being educated, how do you correlate that to this event right here in Tennessee with what's going on?
I feel like we need to vote. I feel like the politicians need to be replaced. And I feel like everybody needs to work together to help the community. We can't say, oh, we're not going to show up to the polls and then start complaining about the situations around us. That don't make sense. That don't add up. Either we're going to build our own government and fight back, or we're going to sit here and keep having these discussions and not get nowhere. I'm with the free food programs. I'm with all that. But at the same time, we need people in power to help us to keep our communities together. We can't do it on our own. We've been trying to do it for how long? And it ain't been working.
And voting has?
Yeah, all power to the people. Right, you want to see, you got something to say?
You can't.
All right, well, you can talk right here.
We can't hear you. We can't hear you, comrade.
My question to Panther Queen, you say what we've been doing hasn't been working, and voting has been working?
No, because not enough people ain't been getting out there voting. No, voting, okay. None of this has been working. That's why we're still having these political education classes. That's why we're still at the bottom of the totem pole. None of that shit been working.
All right, so my question is, I don't know if this is your first time in the class, but
no, it's not.
Okay, so throughout the political education class, we as a party have been saying that, no, we're not just complaining and not voting. We have to build institutions. We have to build dual content.
That's another one.
Contending powers. We have to fight for the people, because we already see it has already shown us voting doesn't work. The work has to be done. We have to organize the people to get the work done. But if we
okay, but we're not going to organize nothing by sitting here going back and forth.
Comrades, this ain't a back and forth. Let one comrade speak, and then the other comrade is going to speak, and then we're going to open it up to other views. So let one comrade state their point, and then another comrade state their point, then we're going to open it up. It's not a back and forth. All power to the people.
Hey, all power to the people.
Yeah, so the reason why you feel like you think it's not working and we haven't progressed is because of these. We have the bourgeoisie class, and we have those in power, the black faces, the politicians that, like the young gentleman in Tennessee, that think they could go in there and change the system. The system is not there to be changed. It's there to oppress us. That's its only goal. You cannot change it. You cannot reform it. And this is what these political education classes is teaching us. And it's giving us strategies and solutions to combat that. We just need to pay attention, learn, read, study, and do the survival programs. Because eventually we're gonna get to where we need to go. But if we do this infighting and trying to tell people to go and vote instead of focusing on what's actually gonna get us the changes in the material conditions, yes, the progress is gonna be slow. Because you got people saying go vote for politicians in the fascist imperialistic system that's continuing to oppress us. That does not make sense to me. You said that those gentlemen got voted out because they have a fascist Congress. So why would you want to vote into a fascist Congress? That I think is working backwards.
So that's her last piece on that. Panther Queen, you got a last piece on that?
Yeah, I'm not saying to vote in. I'm saying to replace the people that are fascists in office, because it's pretty apparent that we're in America and we're going to be living by that system. So why not try to replace the people that are hurting us? All power to the people.
Hey, all power. I'm gonna say how I feel about it in a little bit. But hey, Rob, anybody else got their hand up other than Rob?
Oh, everybody got their. But Rob was first. Then we can.
Y'all gotta know you're supposed to be watching the order. No, hey, yo, go ahead, Rob. Talk to me, Rob. Try to keep it short, Rob.
No, man, you can put. Oh no, and I had a lot to say too. No, but seriously, this is something I want to highlight, right?
Yeah.
Is that everybody in this class, I hope, respect the 10-point program, right?
Oh, wow.
The 10-point program is something that we all can unify at, right? And I say that is because we're gonna have a lot of people within UPM's educational class and building with other organizations, and however we look at it, they're going to have different views on things and different ways of going about it, right? The beauty of this is that we have a disagreement and we can still love each other and we still respect each other and we can still work together, right? These ideas and stuff, I think there's a level here that I think that is being highlighted here that we should all try to, keep in mind that as we have criticisms of each other, we should always try to find that point of unity, right? Keep finding that point of unity to keep moving forward, keep criticizing, keep moving forward, keep finding that point of unity and stuff like that, right? I could have some points that I could make about the electoral system. I'm not going to make them right now. Somebody want to talk about me on another day, I'll have no problem talking to you one-on-one about this, because I'm sure a lot of people are going to have things to say. But I just want to keep that in mind, because as of lately, in UPM chat, just the chat we have, there's a lot of different people who have different points of views, and that's fine. That is fine, as long as we could respect each other.
What's the UPM chat? Say it to people that don't know.
The UPM Facebook Messenger chat, one of the ones that we use, the tools we use into bringing people to the Zoom class. So while we're sitting in there waiting for Sunday to come, conversations come up, things come out that not everybody agrees with. The point is that we need to find that point of unity, and if we try to adhere to the 10-point program at all points of this, be respectful, hear each other out, I think that we can move forward in a lot of different directions. And that's all I had to say about this, is just, keep being respectful, find that point of unity. All power to the people.
All power to the people.
All power.
Go ahead, Tom. Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah. Greetings, comrades. I wanted to share something that an elder explained to me when I was a youngster. He said the essence of fascism is manufactured consent and manufactured dissent. And we look at this situation from that perspective, the bourgeoisie wins either way. On the one hand, they're promoting the old traditional white racism and, paternalism and so forth, patriarchy. On the other hand, they're promoting disarming the people as though it's something progressive, when indeed it's a fascist thing. The fascists want to disarm the people, but they don't want to disarm all the people. They want to disarm the people that aren't pro-fascist. They want to selectively disarm the people. And so they got to sell this idea to black people, to poor people, to women, that disarming would be the solution to the problem of the violence, such as the school shootings. School shootings are not dependent upon taking guns out of the hands of poor black people. The school shootings are part of, just like racism is a byproduct of capitalism, the violence in America is a byproduct of imperialism. The violence that these people do in a school is a drop in the bucket compared to the violence that's done every day in Gaza. It's a drop in the bucket compared to what the violence that's being done to the people in Yemen. The horrific crimes of imperialism all over the planet create an environment of violence that, as Malcolm X said, the chickens come home to roost.
Wow.
you know? And how are we supposed to look at it? And Malcolm said, look at it as a country boy. He said, those chickens coming home to roost is a good thing, not a bad thing. It means the contradictions are intensified. We look at France Fanon before the revolt against the French, there was a spike in violence of Arab on Arab. There was a spike in violence of families. And then all of a sudden, when the people turned on the real enemy, that violence, diminished to next to nothing, because the people were now transforming their, directing their anger at the target of colonialism instead of going off sideways at each other. You look at the people shooting heroin in their arms. That's a byproduct of the oppression of this society. It's not something that we can solve by banning needles or throwing people that are addicts in prisons. We have to get at the root of the problem. And the root of the problem is capitalism. And these people are Judas goats being used to keep the people in the system. They put out these young black men and they say, these guys are heroes. They're like up there with Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and Huey Newton and all that. And that's bullshit. They're Judas goats telling the people, we have to go back to the Democratic Party and get more votes. And if we get more votes, then we're going to take away your guns and everything's going to be okay. Bullshit.
All power to the people, Tom. Pretty good analysis.
Zoom user, go ahead, Zoom user.
I was just going down the road.
That's what I'm going down on mine. I don't know who Zoom user is. You have the picture with the girl. I don't know if she's smiling.
With the black hoodie.
Yeah, with the black hoodie.
That's Gabby.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. For some reason, I thought I changed my name to Gabby. I don't know why I keep on. I don't know why I keep on saying Zoom user. But yeah, to add to what you guys were saying, a socioeconomic system in which the fascists and the white supremacists is given a space to speak and to hold their opinions is not a socioeconomic system to keep. The only way to combat those reactionary sentiments, the only way to create a society in which the masses benefit and have a decent life is by uprooting that socioeconomic system and replacing it with something that combats those reactionary sentiments, that combats those contradictions of capitalism, and that upholds the proletarian line. And the only way that can happen is through revolution. There is no reformism, there is no changing the system, there is no trying to vote and anyone out, because even if there was someone, right, even if there was someone who genuinely did want to get into the system to try, quote unquote, change it from within, or try to, to get all the fascists out, if anyone tried something like that, and if they genuinely pose a threat to the bourgeois, guess what will happen to that person? They'd get killed. They get killed, they get assassinated, they, mysteriously disappear. Change cannot happen within the system. It has to happen by replacing it and uprooting it. It cannot happen by just, hopefully wishing that the bourgeois would sorry, I'm stuttering a little bit.
It's okay. They don't get a change of heart. And the bourgeois when if we explain to them what their colonialism, what they're doing to us, how we're suffering from it, they're gonna get a change of heart. And they're going to change the way they do business.
Exactly. It's idealistic. It's utopian. It will never happen. There has never been a moment in history, in human history, in class struggle, where an oppressor class has willingly given up their power. Never. That has never happened. It has always happened through revolution. Always.
I'm a sociologist and a historian. I can't find anywhere in history where the people oppressed were ever just like they took the boot off their neck just because they
Exactly.
made understand like they had their boot on their neck. Like I've never seen that. Hey, go
Exactly.
all power. Talk to me, Tristan.
All power to the people.
All power. Hey, all power, comrade. Talk to me, Tristan.
All power. So, yeah, one thing I'd like to talk about is how I like earlier when you said that revolution's not going to be brought about by like reactionary behavior, but instead through like community efforts. I like that because it's definitely important to for our communities to become self-reliant so that we don't have to end up relying on these political figures that this fascist system has given us. And because truly our politicians aren't the people who give us food or shelter or anything. It is the people of our communities who do this.
All power, Tristan. You got me, Richard? You ready, Richard?
Yeah. Just commenting on the electoral process. People need to see that that's just a tactic that spends the energy of the people. That's what it does. It literally takes all your revolutionary energy and puts it all into its little voting system. By the time you're done, you're left with hopes and dreams. And then they literally they claim they're going to do a bunch of changes. You end up with reforms. Then by the time you get those reforms in, the next regime will come and undo everything you hope. So this shit it's nothing. It's literally, you will never get anywhere there. But in building on what Tristan just said, yeah, once you build those community institutions that replace the fake local government, political, anything, you won't have those anxieties to participate in the electoral system. You'll have something to completely combat that. You'll have your food programs, your free clinics, anything. Understand? Just to replace all that bullshit. So you don't gotta listen to MSNBC no more. You ain't gotta look at them like they got you shaking in your boots no more. You feel me? You're gonna be like, shit, I got my shit. My community's growing our shit and we're feeding each other. We're good.
All power. Yeah, I got
All power to the people. All power.
I got the chairman of the White Panther Party, and then Corey, you after him. Go ahead, chairman.
So firstly, I just want to say all power to the people.
Hey, all power to the people.
All
man.
power to the
all
people.
Power. I live for the people. I die for the people. All power.
All power, comrades. So the first thing that I want to say, and this is just in regards to the original line, the line of the Black Panther Party for self-defense. The political education class that the Black Panther Party for self-defense had included in their curriculum a reading of State and Revolution by Vladimir Lenin. In that book, you will see exactly in condensed form the arguments that we have all made represented very clear. And it's in the first few chapters. It doesn't take a whole lot of reading. I'd say it's the first 20 pages, 20, 30 pages, really flesh out the bulk of the argument. So that's the first thing I wanted to say. The second thing is I just want to read this thing real quick here. It's not long, so it's going to take me like 2 minutes. So, and this is something I wrote the other day, and many of you have already seen this, but for anybody who hasn't, and this is in regards to that issue with those two lawmakers who were taken out of office. So it's never been a gun issue. This has always been a white supremacy issue. This has always been an alienation from the means of production issue. And I want to add to that, and what Tom said, this is an issue with imperialism itself. It's been an issue of biological, cultural, and religious essentialism. And it's been an issue of a lack of free health and mental health care. I'm tired of liberals and radical liberals who think their reformism is Marxism, coming out thinking that bans or regulations can solve a problem like this. If your Marxism or socialism has to do with regulating or banning the gun, then I promise your existence in the long run will be regulated and banned using the gun. Mao Zedong said power flows from the barrel of a gun. We have people running around hollering all power to the people, and at the same time same time trying to make it harder for the people to have power. Every time an opportunist and a reformist organize their performative march, talking over crowds, demanding a vote to regulate the gun, they demand a vote to regulate the people's power.
Woo.
Every time an opportunist or a reformist organizes their march, they demand that the people forget their objective condition.
Mm.
They demand that the people forget about how minorities have had their rights to own the gun politicked and policed away from them. They demand that the people forget that the minorities have had their right to vote at all policed and then stripped from them.
Mm.
They demand that the people forget their enemy is a white supremacist bourgeois state that has more interest in restricting and profiting off of them than it will ever have in liberating them.
Oh, wow.
There's only one way to go. It's militant direct action in the community. It's the liberated zone. It's patrolling on the streets and on the rooftops. It's to get armed, not just with the gun, but with the paper and the pen, the rake and the hoe, the hammer and the nail. The Panthers know that the only way to security and liberation is to arm yourselves with the people. All power to the people.
All power to the people.
All power
All
to the
power
people.
to the
Beautiful
people. That
piece.
was
Beautiful
awesome.
piece.
Thank you.
All power.
That was beautiful.
Hey, Corey, somebody said, hold up a second, Corey. Somebody said, I just saw the message come up in the group chat. Don't you have to participate in capitalism to make all these things come about? Let me just say something real quick. Hey, yo, every single one of us here, by and large, we all have jobs, you all work, or you on unemployment or something. You live in a socioeconomic world, in the capitalist world. We are all on the plantation. Yo, we all got to work to survive. We are all slaves. We are not free. What we're saying is, after you leave the plantation, you go back to your hut, to your home, to your apartment, wherever you at. You have to join the Underground Railroad in building institutions to liberate us. That's what we're saying here. Yeah, we live under capitalism, but there's guerrilla tactics, there are ways for people to come together, organize, to liberate themselves. Hey, Corey, where you at, Corey? Come on, you ain't drop off on me, right?
All power to the people. I'm right here.
Go ahead, tell us what you got, Corey.
Hope everyone's having a good evening, a revolutionary one at that. I actually, if you don't mind me speaking on a piece or passage that I wrote regarding this topic, it kind of segues or kind of connects with what Tom Watts was saying and what Chairman Jake was saying. I think the way that I had it, it also does in a way connect to even our modern material conditions. If you'll let me go ahead with it. It is, I think, a little bit lengthy, but I'll try my best to wrap it up as quick as I can.
You good, go ahead.
I just felt that it was really important to bring it up into this. As much as gun violence has continued to exist in America, and with America being the country with the most recorded gun violence in history, saying guns is the problem and calling for gun regulation isn't going to resolve the situation. I'm not saying this because, oh, I love my guns, but because it proves more and more that with each gun regulation that goes on, it doesn't stop white supremacists and fascist organizations from carrying out operations with their guns. It's not guns, it's the system in this country. One, the United States is founded on white supremacy, slavery, and genocide, which has never changed to this day. Hence the 13th Amendment allowing involuntary prison labor, millions of indigenous tribes and their cultures eradicated across North America. Number two, capitalism, colonialism, fascism, and imperialism being simultaneously programmed through our government, which is always spread through violent and forceful means. That's why when leftist organizations take to the streets, cops will do everything to disarm them. But when reactionary organizations do their operations, most of the time, cops in uniforms won't do anything. And there have been off-duty cops among these reactionary and fascist groups as well, hence the Ku Klux Klan and the Proud Boys. Sorry, I'm trying to get back to where I was. The U.S. state and the white supremacist militia groups have been shown to work together most times, and it's no surprise considering the layout of the corporate state and its settler history. The Black Panther Party openly carried guns for defense while building up their communities and policing the cops that enter their communities to harass Black people. They were policing the cops that entered their communities that were harassing the Black people in those communities, just to clarify. Almost immediately, Ronald Reagan, as California governor at the time, enforced a law that would ban open carry as a means to disarm the Black Panther organization from the streets. In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, workers took to arms and battled private companies because the workers demanded better conditions. The feds and private militaries would show up to stop the strikers. And when workers strike to this day, the U.S. state will still help corporations dissolve the strikes in favor of the corporations. The literal proof of that statement shows with the constant train derailments we keep hearing about, including the hazardous Ohio incident, because safety hasn't been prioritized, especially with the Norfolk Southern Railroad Company. The railroad workers in December warned of this and went on strike for better conditions, including paid sick leave, which they have not yet to receive. Joe Biden, including the Senate that voted, signed a legislation bill to block those strikers from striking, or strike those workers from striking. This all ties into the gun violence subject one way or another, because as stated at the beginning, it is a systematic issue rather than just a gun issue. There is a problem with the hyper gun culture. Media outlets do not help the way they spread information on gun violence events such as the mini school and public shootings that continue to happen. White supremacists and reactionary groups have been sabotaging drag and LGBT plus events while armed. This isn't stopping soon as long as the system is being upheld. Talk to your communities, address what problems are going on, work collectively to tackle the problems as the culture of community care builds up through each collective improvement. At this point, if we want to prevent these acts of violence from happening, then we need to build up our communities. We need to transform from the hyper-individual focus of ourselves to community building and collective action. We have to call out incorrect behavior such as racism, ableism, homophobia, transphobia, etc., and correct them. If we notice someone struggling or if they're acting unusual, then we should reach out to them and do a wellness check. If you aren't comfortable doing so alone, then either ask someone to go with you upon doing a wellness check or see if they'll check on them. I mean, I just did a wellness check last week or the other week. So, sometimes that's all it takes as a start with it, but we need to stop with alienation because it doesn't improve anything with alienation and hyper-individualism. Community care, collective action improves and saves lives. All power to the people.
All power to the people. All power to the people, comrade. Hey,
all power to the people.
Yeah, I know. Hey, I know Panther Queen's still here. I know Panther Queen didn't dip off real quick.
I think she did.
Yeah, I think she did, man. She didn't even get to hear my rebuttal, man. But be that as it may not be. And come put it back on the thing so I can go back to the smile real quick. Hey, Chairman Zulu.
All power to the people.
Hey, yo, you missed something, yo. Did you see anybody in this video that was recognizable? Back to the smiles. In that CNN video? Was you was watching it?
Yeah, well, I seen it, the original broadcast. No.
Them have done some things.
Now, the video that I was just showing, I got
First, we bring you some of the historic scenes that unfold.
I want you to tell me if you remember who this is real quick.
First.
Where this guy at? Right, let me see.
We're voting on House Resolution.
I'm standing in between 10
camera. It's a chaotic scene, but to put this in a non-political nutshell, these people.
Hey, Chairman.
Yeah.
You know who that is with the dreads right there? Right here. Right?
Now, who is that?
The House of Representatives, because
I can't really see. Who is it?
No. I got another video for you, bro. I got another video. It's leading to something.
Trio now known as the Tennessee.
It's leading to something. Where he at? Let me show him again.
We bring you.
Nah, he's here too.
On April 17th, a group of clergy from different denominations, they have invited Reverend Dr. William J. Barber and Repairs of the Breach to come and have a Moral Monday there in Tennessee. Reverend Barber joins us right now. Reverend Barber, this is Good Friday. We just, of course, commemorated the assassination of Dr. King 3 days ago there in Memphis. What you see unfolding here is a continuation of the battle.
And guess what, brother? We're taking care.
He right there. You see him right here? Right here with the phone in his ear.
Yeah.
You know who that is?
I can't really see.
I'm about to remind you and everybody else real quick. There you go, right here.
Oh, that's the captain of MSNBC.
Hey, yo, but check this out, right? A few years ago, because we Panthers, we're in the community and we fighting for the people in our community. So they had a gentrification meeting. Yo, they had all the big dogs of the black managerial class. Yo, who's that guy right there in the back? So Louisa, I think
That's Charles Barron. Charles Barron.
That's Charles Barron. He was there from New York. They had the who's who was there. And there was this guy that was there. His name is Mark Thompson. He's supposed to be a journalist. He's on MSNBC, he's CNN, he's on Sirius at that moment. Before this conversation, before he met Africa, before we had this conversation, he was on all those media platforms. In fact, he was the moderator of this event at NJRT, hosted by the mayor. And I waited till the event was over to ask him a question, to ask him, hey, yo, bruh, when you're on MSNBC, CNN, all these places, why you be talking about Russia when they're gentrifying our community and they're bringing charter schools into our community? This when charter schools were hot, when the thing was going around real hot. And dude got highly upset with me and tried to say that the people in these communities care about Russia. Hey, watch this video. Yo, yeah.
You got the video? Yes. And I get frustrated because the stuff that you say and other people say don't really explain me all my life. I'm a poor black man from the inner city. And I don't care about Russian issues. I don't care about oil. I care that my life sucks, my school water is poisoned, my kids' education is horrible, there are no jobs, I have a felony, so I really can't get a job. These are the things I care about. And I don't want no politician that's gonna give more tax cuts to the wealthy, like Obama, like Trump, like Bush, like the Clintons. I want somebody to fight for us. How do I get somebody on MSNBC with that platform to speak for me?
I'm talking about those things on MSNBC.
Oh, but like when I see you on MSNBC, like
you haven't seen me every time I've been on. I'm talking about those things.
I even watched you on your Facebook thing. Like when the Mueller report came out, you was highly upset. But to us, the average black person, people catching up out here, we don't care about Russia.
That's not true. We have to care about everything. We have to address everything.
No, but Russia's not the one that's killing you. Russia's not the one that's
Russia is. Russia is. Now speak, you gonna let me talk? You gonna talk? Please. Y'all be
You see how he run? He don't have nothing to say. He gonna run. You go out there and you make us look like idiots, bro. I mean, we out here catching hell. I'm done. I'm done. You go ahead and talk. You're not gonna say nothing. There's no peace.
Because you disrespect.
Because you disrespect. You're a sellout. You're a spoon. Disrespect. You're a fool and a sellout. You call me a fool. You call me a fool.
Hey, yo, that guy right there, he's a political hack, man. He's a fraud. Yo, he used to roll with Karanga. He's the people that they were talking about in the video with what? With who? What's his name? Chairman Zulu. Just now we're just watching the video.
Tennessee 2, 3.
With Bunchy Carter.
Yeah, Bucky Carter.
Yeah, and they were talking about Kafante, whatever his name is, Karenga, whatever his name is. And they were talking about how these people had their own ideology and philosophy that was not like what the Panthers believe. This guy, since the 60s, has been around part of the managerial class, and they've been convincing our people. What did Tom said? Manufacturing consent. I think that's from what's his name? What's his name? The guy that's supposed to be
Noam Chomsky.
Noam Chomsky, like 100 years old. He's supposed to be this brilliant guy. I don't know how, man. I don't know too much about that guy no more. But like manufacturing consent, these people manufacture consent in our community for us to support people and policies that are detrimental to our health, to our safety, to our survival. So when I saw him, I was watching the CNN clip, and I'm looking, and he pops up out of nowhere. I saw his arm. I just saw his arm, and then later on, I saw him walking out with the young man out of the
on April 17th.
When I saw him walking out, I'm like, oh shit! Like they got this thing already put together already. Like these people are not on their own, working on their own. They're already institutionalized, working in the system to manufacture the consent of the people. I'm not trying to look for the video no more, but y'all know who I'm talking about. But these are the people we're dealing with. Because like we're not just bumping our gums saying we're Panthers, we're doing work in North. Yo, the chairman and I went to that program. It was about gentrification in the city. And that man assaulted me. Yo, he lost his job on MSNBC because of that. He lost his Sirius show. He lost all his little speaking stuff. So now you see him with his little cell phone trying to record over here, trying to put this stuff out. He's like, he got to start all over from the beginning. They got him back on the whole stroke. I mean, because like at one point,
we're voting on House resolution.
Let me see where he at.
Right. Words across.
All these people that you see right here.
State legislators.
Let me pause this for a second. Yo, all those people that you see right there, are not organic people in Tennessee that get up and said, you know what? Yo, I'm tired of this. I'm tired of what they're doing to the senators. I'm going to fight for them. Yo, all these people that you're looking at, the ones laying on the floor, they all belong to NGOs and different groups that are funded by the state. They go right there laying on the floor. Country is hell. You couldn't pay me to lay on that damn floor. But they're laying on the floor. What would you call that?
Performative.
Performative. They're doing like they planned this. They all came together, planned this to go out there to go do their performance. So look at them laying there. Let me close this out. Look at them laying there. You think they just woke up one day and they decided, yo, we're gonna go lay on the floor? If you think that, you're naive. You're naive and you don't understand what we're talking about here, and you haven't been paying attention to our classes. And yo, our enemy is imperialism. Imperialism is our enemy. It's not gay people, it's not women, it's not white people. Our issue is imperialism. Imperialist is who those politicians work for. They work for imperialists to condition, to manufacture consent out of us to support ideas that we would never support. Bro he got an afro, one of them. He got an afro. I think that's Parson, Paxson, whatever his name is. He got an afro up there with a dashiki on, throwing up the black power fist. And Huey Newton and them was fighting for us to get guns. He's up there fighting to regulate guns, as if regulating the guns is going to change the condition on the ground of the issues these people are feeling stem from capitalism. It stems from a decadent society that don't care about human beings. That don't care, like that the person that shot that place up was somebody that was going through a gender issue. And that school told them that they were not human beings. So that person didn't go in there and shoot it up because it's guns. They went in there to shoot it up because of how they were treated in this society, in this system. It's that simple. So you can pass all the gun laws, gun right bills you want. It's not going to change the material condition of the people that are suffering. So right now, let's say they get what they want. Let's say those two politicians that are up there next week, they get what they want. Everybody in there said we passing gun law regulations. And who the fuck you think is going to jail? Who you think those regulations are going to target? Who has all the regulations ever targeted? Go look at the numbers in prison. The majority of people—
non-white people.
Yeah, go look in there. The same communities that those politicians swear up and down they're fighting for with their dashikis and their afro and their fists in the air, those are the people that are going to get locked up. Because they have no money. When they catch them with a gun, whatever, when they go with their little gun, they have no money to fight the system because the system is inherently corrupt. Like you heard the dude with the afro and the dashiki. He was talking to Simone, another political hack. She was just working in the White House. They let her out of the White House. She leave out the back door and she go through the front door of MSNBC. So now she's on MSNBC, manufacturing consent. All these people, Roland Martin, all these people, Reverend Barber that was talking to Roland Martin. He came to North. I got another video of him where I asked him, yo, how about the people? And he refused to answer. He walked away. And I took the whole program over. It's like, I'm here. This is my community. You ain't coming over here to talk whatever you're talking. We chase him out of the city. I got the video to that too. But I say all of that to say this. Just like Fred Hampton said in the video we just watched, if the people are not politically educated, they will support neoliberalism. That is what we have in all our Black cities, Black towns. We have neoliberalists, fake fraud Uncle Toms, acting like they're revolutionaries. In North New Jersey, we have one, or Uncle Tom, a sellout.
Revisionists.
But they're not revisionists. Real talk, they're not even revisionists because they're not revisionizing nothing. I saw a video with Amiri Baraka, Ras Baraka father, in 1972, and there was a debate with him and other activists, and they were telling him, yo, the shit you're talking about, working with the government, voting, all of this, that's some Uncle Tom shit. This was in 72. They're like, you have no idea what that system is about to bring upon our people. They're upholders of white supremacy. Exactly. This was before mass incarceration. This was before the AIDS epidemic. This was before all of those things. This was before the jobs leaving the community. And they were telling Amiri Baraka, the father of Ras Baraka, like, yo, going into the government, but belonging to the Democratic Party, You're a traitor to your people. And his son is now the mayor of the city that I'm living in. And his son has allowed corporations to buy everything. They're not held accountable. People complain, go to City Hall, complain about the slum laws. He does nothing about it because they're in his pocket. He's a millionaire now. 4 times over, 5 times over, a millionaire, while the people are catching more hell than they ever caught. So when I saw that video of those people, I don't need to go look at their background, even though I did. And I found out that they've done nothing. They've done no survival programs. One of them fought to take a statue down. They took a statue down. Ooh. The other one fought to join some group to stop a pipeline from being built. But other than that, as soon as they stopped doing that, they went smooth into the Senate. And they're in their trying to pass laws that their imperialist masters want them to pass. You didn't hear none of those people talking about gentrification, talking about people on the streets, people getting kicked out of their homes illegally. They didn't talk about none of that. They're talking about gun control. Gun control to try to divide us. I mean, but basically, that's all I really have to say on that, man. Don't be fooled. Don't get flim-flam. Don't get hoodwinked, bamboozled. None of that. Pay attention. What you say?
Richard have his hands up.
Richard, you got your hand up, Richard?
Oh no, I ain't doing it.
Yeah, but I am done though. I'm like when I saw that and I'm reading Fred in them and I'm listening to what Fred is saying, and Fred is warning me from the grave. Fred is telling me if you don't politicize or give political education to the people that you're trying to organize, they're gonna turn out to be the imperialists. You're gonna have Black imperialists. And that's what we have now. So that's what I learned from watching what happened over the weekend, to listen to what our ancestors told me. I mean, but if anybody else got something, talk to me. Go ahead, Patience.
So I just want to piggyback off the video where it shows like these different groups, because these 2 young gentlemen supposed to be representing their constituents. They say it's 78,000 constituents from a predominantly Black demographic. If you pay attention to the people that were in Congress supporting them, they are not the constituents. The constituents is back in Tennessee, catching hell, not worrying about gun control. They're worrying about feeding themselves, having clothing, and having housing. And those 2 young men, so-called future leaders, are not any of that.
Go ahead, Tom. Tom, you there?
Then we got more people hand up.
Who's hand up?
We got Zoom user and Rob Rich.
Zoom user, you got something, Zoom user?
Yeah, sorry. I was a little bit distracted, but like, yeah, exactly what you were saying. If there has to be a constant cultural revolution within communities, because if there isn't a constant cultural revolution in combating reactionary sentiments and combating bourgeois thought, what's happening is that counter-revolutionary sentiments start forming. Bourgeois thought starts forming, and the only way to combat those types of sentiments is through ideological liberation, through cultural revolution, to increasing class consciousness by showing the masses who really supports them and who is just using them to uphold white supremacy and the interests of the capitalists. All power to the people.
All power to the people. Hey, Rob, you got something, Rob?
I always got something. If you was call on me just randomly, I could just go.
Oh, hell yeah.
Your hand is up, comrade.
No, I put it up because I saved anything I had to say, but I did send a video to Patience if there was a way of playing that just recently. And if it kind of highlights what Shaka Zulu was pointing out. It's a video from Huey P. Newton, but if you can't, irregardless, I still have something to say on this subject. And someone was speaking about like the guns aspect and fascism and things of that nature. Something that George Jackson highlights is that everything is constantly moving and changing, right? This is a part of dialectical materialism. And fascism isn't exempt from that. Fascism is constantly changing and moving. And the things that we could identify about fascism and its nature is it's anti-proletariat, it's anti the working class, right? So at this point, that when we see these aspects of policies and reform being utilized and disguised as progress, is another arm of fascism. And people don't like to really look at it that way because they think that it's somehow super positive or what have you. But when it's preserving this class system that keeps the working class oppressed, that's doing exactly what fascism wants it to do. It's not going to work in a direction that is going to eradicate itself on purpose. You know what I mean? It's not going to reform itself where it abolishes the class system and we wake up and it's communism. It's not going to happen. But I just wanted to highlight that part of about reformism and fascism. That came from George Jackson. I didn't quote him. I also have a whole video on that too if you want to see it. But if you can't play that video by Huey P. Newton, it's all good. I sent it late, but all power. In Messenger. I sent it in Messenger.
Let me see if I can get it. Hey, Chairman of the White Panther Party, you ready?
Yeah.
Well, go ahead. What you got, bro? What you got, my guy?
So yeah, I just want to echo the sentiment put out there by the one of our comrades here on the Cultural Revolution. We got to throw these motherfuckers out a window. I mean, we got and
hey, listen, bro. We just got on YouTube. You about to get us banned already. You throwing people out.
Well, all right, I'll clarify it. That's a joke, but in some sense, we gotta be resolute here, and specifically, we gotta be resolute in our understanding of dialectical materialism, and other things here, because with the comrade, I think what the comrade was trying to say is that these reactionary sentiments, they coalesce into counter-revolutionary headquarters within the party and within the mass base and in the masses in general. You know what I mean? So what we really need to do is we got to think about this like quantitatively, right? Well, what can we do here when we have people who come in here who have these kind of liberal attitudes, these reformist attitudes, opportunist tendencies, these kinds of things? We have to make a deliberate effort to engage in collective criticism, in like having crit sessions, you know what I mean? Assigning reading for these kinds of tendencies so that we can kind of combat this stuff in productive ways. In some sense, people have to understand what they're getting into when they come to these education classes, because all of us here, we have a very specific, seemingly very specific line when it comes to reformism and these things. So, it's definitely a shock to a lot of people if they come in here and they don't understand that, but like I said, it's quantitative. So, this builds, because this is just what we could do internally as an organization. You know what I mean? When we talk about the masses themselves, there needs to be an effort on part of us to go out and do things like mass teach-ins, mass crit sessions. You know what I mean? Assigning reading en masse to people with an ability to follow up through the mass line. And then the actual application of the mass line as well, so that we understand that their views in relation to issues like electoralism, so that we can further strengthen our program, our education program. So that's just really what I wanted to put an emphasis on here. We really need to take those steps.
All power to the people. All power. Hey, you hit it.
Well said.
Yeah. That's okay. Patients having technical difficulties, but we've been here for 2 hours already. So I'm about to drop that Panther. Who am I, Panther? Wait. Let's take the link in the chat. Yeah, but now,
and Captain, right before you go, I would like to just end it with a quote from V.L. Lenin. that I think is apropos to everything that we discussed here.
All power to the people. But let me see. Patience is trying to see if she could get that video up real quick. So
No, I'm not going to put it in the link so y'all can copy and watch it.
Oh, okay. So she said she's putting it in the link so everybody can copy and watch it in the chat. But yeah, but
Y'all are awesome.
yeah, so like, but look, that's what we come here for, man. We come here for the political education class, and then we have the discussions. Like, this is the best conversation I have all week with anybody that I talk to outside of the party. I mean, like, this is useful. You're not gonna go anywhere and watch no podcast and watch nothing on media, wherever, that's going to have people from all around the country that are politically educated giving their analysis, because these are not opinion. Anybody that you heard talking on here, they're not just bumping their gums. Everything that we're saying is coming from studying, from reading. So like, as soon as that video come out, everybody that's been studying and reading, that's been following the last 8 weeks of the political education class, they know them dudes is frauds. They already know it. I don't know if my man Anwan on here, but my man called me this morning to tell me that they were frauds. Like, he knew they were frauds. Like, something, the hair on his back stood up. But Chairman, lead us out with that quote, Chairman.
All power to the people. So this is a quote.
My bad, Chairman. Hey, look, you want to tell them about the food program real quick? What's going on? You want to give them a progress on the food program before you go into that, take us out with that quote?
Our particular food program, or the one that
No, our particular food program, because we ain't have it the last couple of weeks.
Oh, I apologize. Okay, all power to the people. So yeah, a kind of an update. So the reason why we haven't had the food program here locally is because the driver contacted COVID and he was down. And as a result of that, what developed between him and the company that we work with, we don't know, but he ended up getting fired. So they're looking for a new driver. And as soon as that transpires, we should be back out there serving the people, mind, body, and soul.
Yeah, because we have the Panther food program bi-weekly. And for the last 2-3 weeks, the driver had COVID. So we haven't been able to get out there. But as soon as we can get out there, man, you heard it, Chairman, we're gonna be right back out there with the food program. But go ahead, lead us out, Chairman.
All power to the people. We are marching in a compact group along a precipitous and difficult path, firmly holding each other by the hand. We are surrounded on all sides by enemies, and we have to advance almost constantly under their fire. We have combined by a freely adopted decision for the purpose of fighting the enemy, and not retreating into the neighboring marsh, the inhabitants of which from the very outset have reproached us with having separated ourselves into an exclusive group and with having chosen the path of struggle instead of the path of conciliation. And now some among us begin to cry out, let us go into the marsh. And when we begin to shame them, they retort, what backward people you are. Are you not ashamed to deny us the liberty to invite you to take a better road? Oh yes, gentlemen, you are free not only to invite us, but to go to yourselves wherever you will, even into the marsh. In fact, we think that the marsh is your proper place. We are prepared to render you every assistance to get there. Only let go of our hands. Don't clutch at us, and don't besmirch the grand word freedom. For we too are free to go where we please. Free to fight not only against the marsh, but also against those who are turning towards the marsh. And I think this is all power to the people. This is apropos, was written by Latimer Lennon, and what is to be done. And to talk about the marsh for us is the enemy electoral system. Our job is to go to make sure they let our hands go and we go and build base areas of social, cultural, and political power. So I just wanted the comrades, I think this was a healthy discussion. We want to make sure 1,000 different ideas blossom at the same time, comrades, putting our line out there. So when people leave here, they firmly understand that we are true Panthers, not paper Panthers, and our line Pantherism guide us. And everything that we do, we are guided by the ideas, concepts, ethics, morals of Pantherism. And we laid that out. It's a whole philosophy, and we live by that. Like Africa said, we live for the people, we die for the people, we struggle for the people, we eat for the people, and ultimately we will have a new future with the people if we continue to transform our minds, bodies, and souls to be proletarian revolutionaries for the socialist struggle. All power to the people. That's all I want to say.
All power, comrade. Hey, look, we 9:05, so that's 2 hours and 5 minutes. Yo, and your boy ain't even getting paid, bro. Yo, we gotta start. Listen, bro, we gotta call up. It's like, I'm playing with y'all. Yo, but look, this was a great class, man. Next week is week 10. We almost done, but this is beautiful. I love being here with everybody. All power to the people.
All power to the people.
All power to the people.
All power to the people, comrade.
All power to the people.
All
All power to the people.
How you end it, B?
All power.
All power.
Stop shit.
Stop sharing.
All power.
Power.